And welcome to another episode of Behind the Mask. As always, I'm Eugene with my wonderful co-host who's, depending on how you're looking at it, I think he would be on my left, right? My army right.
No clue.
All right, so we are back with another episode live here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. It's that time again, guys. It's 6:30 Pacific Standard Time, and we're back with another wonderful episode. We've got some great guests today. If you guys have been following us if you're following us on Instagram, you'll know who exactly we have. Two great guys. We've had them on before. And what's up, Terrence? Want to say hi? And he's saying hi to you too, Dennis. Let's say hi to him.
Yes, I see. How you doing tonight, Terrence? Good to see you.
Oh, man. So look at that. We've got people actually showing up. Whew, I'm excited.
Whoa.
We got three early on. Normally we have to wait till at least halfway through the episode. But, hey, it's awesome. Welcome to the show.
Look at that, Jeff. Already feeding our ego. Thank you so much. Look at that. Legends. We're talking about our legends.
We're talking to
our guests.
It's two legends.
Talking to our guests.
Yeah, he's talking about our guests. Two legends. Sorry, not us. I get it. But it's been great for the last week. It's kind of been quiet as far as what's going on. So we're kind of moving things a little bit around for this episode because normally we would go into, one segment that we've been doing now, Attorney Talk. We're going to save that for a little bit later in the show because our guests have a lot to do with a tournament and we want them to talk about it during our Attorney Talk. So what we're going to start off with what we always love to do, which I got to get you a case, Dennis, but as always.
Get me a what?
Oh, I got to get you a case of this. And we got to hear it.
Oh, geez, cracking a brand new can. So
Sweet
on
energy.
that note, so Nick Slowiak the other day on his Instagram stories, he's rocking the Ghost now. So it looks like we may have, well, I don't know if we influenced him or not. Well, I mean, we're a couple of
Probably not. We're not influencers yet. We're content creators, but we're not influencers.
That's right. That's right.
We're here just having fun with this.
The content.
Yes. For all 6 of our viewers. It's awesome. I'm excited.
You know what though? Six viewers is amazing because that's the most we've had in at least in one broadcast. To start off. We're
actually getting views on YouTube if you've gone and looked at it, dude. It's actually people are watching our stuff. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's after the fact though.
Yeah, kind of like what Fred says. It's always after the fact that we end up getting, quite a few people.
Thank you, Dave. Yes, thank you. It's not the quantity, it's the quality. And
yes,
everybody watching right now, you're our favorites.
Quality viewers. Even though right now my lighting looks like crap, but whatever. I'm excited. So let's do, like I said, obviously we wanted to throw a shout out to Ghost. We're going to throw another one out during the show, but Ghost is amazing. I needed it right now because I've been dragging. I hate that too. It's been a rough day. So, but oh my gosh, you know what I forgot to do? I need to add something today. Well, we're going to talk about something else, but I need to add one more thing, guys. So we are going to move into one of our new segments. And I kind of like this segment now because it makes me actually do research. Like I'm actually doing homework. I'm excited. Oh, I just lost me. Where did I go?
Eugene's in the stream only. Oh, Gio, thank you. Yeah, his background is it's cool. It's cool, but
can you hear me still?
Yes, we can still hear you. But if you look over my shoulder, mine's much better. I've got all my Imperial love over here.
Hold on. What happened? Why did my camera go out?
I don't know.
Look at that.
Maybe because I'm the better looking one of the two of us.
Wow. We're supposed to be professionals, and all of a sudden my camera.
There's nothing.
There we go.
Hey,
oh, the magic is gone.
More excellent.
You can see my background, my true background. You know what? The hell with it. We're going to go with it because it's not working. All right, anyways.
Dave. Thank you, Dave. Love it.
So we are going to move into our first segment, which is going to be, and guys, if you're our guests, trust me, we are professionals. We do this. We've been doing this for a while.
Thank you, Terrence.
I'm the good-looking one out of us too, so come on.
It's like it's
all right. So
ourselves. Yeah,
we are. We're
keep going.
We're getting big heads over here because we're letting these guys show some love to us and we're enjoying it.
Yeah, well, and we've got guests who are waiting, and I don't want to make them wait too much longer. So let's back
move
to the
on.
professionalism.
All right, so we are going to move to our first segment, which is going to be a segment we like to call gear review. So this is something we've started doing, and unfortunately, we don't always have the gear in hands to be able to show you guys what we're doing, like some of the other podcasts or other videos that are out there. So we kind of do our research. We do have a lot of these actual markers that are at home or the mask or whatever it is, but we sometimes don't always get to bring them out. So what we wanted to do on this episode, or at least this segment, is talk about 3, I would say, entry-level markers that are out there that you guys can actually pick up. Most of them, one of them actually almost anywhere, like literally at Walmart. And then another one that you definitely get, 2 of them that you'll definitely have to go to actual paintball stores to pick up. So the first one that we want to talk about is the Spider Victor. Now, this is something that we have a couple of them at our house. It's more for the kids to use. And, they're very entry-level guns, I would have to say. They're not the best. And I was going to bring up the actual picture that I have of it. But like my computer is acting all wigging out. It's wigging out. That's all I got to say. But it's a very entry-level gun. And a lot of people actually have those markers to start. And
I mean, that was one of the first. Well, not the actual Victor, but I mean, a Spider was the first marker I purchased with my own money.
Yeah, and you know what? It's because they're very affordable. I just want to say that. I'm going to start saying that. So I'm going to show you guys. Let me share it with you guys so I can show you straight from.
They're easy to maintain.
Yes. So this is the Spider Victor. As you can see, the price right there, it's $79. This is straight off of Spider's website. Very easy to maintain, but I will tell you guys, there are issues with just the screws alone. Like I was at the field and we had one completely just fall apart. And I luckily carry around all my tools to be able to fix anything and everything. And I was able to put it back together and put all the, what do you call it? The Loctite on it to be able to lock it all back together. But
yeah. Well, and I mean, that's you're bound to have stuff like that with this type of marker. So this is what's known as a blowback. So essentially every time the trigger is pulled, it opens the valve, which pushes the bolt and the I guess you could call it backwards, allowing air to come in. And then as the air cycles through, the bolt slams forward, propelling the paintball out the barrel. It's simple. It's easy to maintain, but the flip side to it is that it's loud. It vibrates a lot. It's not
Oh, yeah.
entirely accurate, you know.
Yep.
So it is what it is. But yeah, as Eugene said, that's usually one of the first things you want to do is go through and kind of tighten down all your screws, make sure everything is in place, especially after having used the marker, 2-3 times, because all that vibration is going to start, vibrating screws out of places. So
Yeah, and in the words of our friend over at Matrix, Paul, it's a toilet gun. But if you are absolutely starting out, like you want to go out and play, it's not a bad gun to get. Well, Terrence here said that he started out with a Brass Eagle from Big Five.
Yeah.
I started with a Stingray from some chump store at the mall. It was all plastic. So trust me, this is an upgrade compared to what I started out with, and I'm sure a lot of people. So the next one, really quick, we want to go to is this is one that I haven't actually gotten my hands on, but I started reading, started looking at a lot of videos, and actually some stores or some fields carry them as their rentals. And I was pretty shocked to see that. But it is the GOG Enemy. So it's another basic marker, but the difference with this one is it's actually, what do you call it? Oh my gosh. It was I don't want to say spool. Where's my note?
That's mechanical. That's not
it's a mechanical, but it's actually really easy to clean because all it is you undo the back, pull out the internals, clean them, you can put it right back in. Real easy to maintain, and that's why I've seen some fields actually start to use them because they're really easy. They're actually durable also, and from what I've seen, they shoot pretty straight. So for the price, it's a little bit more pricier than the Spider Victor, which is now we're going up to $200, but it's actually something that's going to hold up a little bit longer than a Spider Victor would. So here's another choice for you guys that are out there that don't know about these things. Spider Elite from II Sports. There we go, Lupe. Welcome, Lupe. Yeah, I've got one. I forgot what I bought, but I bought something from II Sports. It's actually over in Puente Hills. I don't know if you remember that, Dennis. They were out there.
Wait, from where? Which one?
II Sports.
Was there an I? Oh, there was an I out here. You're right.
Yeah.
There was an I out here.
So for a little bit more money, you get a little bit more bang for your buck. With this one, you could actually change out the barrel also. It'll hold, I think it was, they said it was, oh my gosh, what was the threading? It wasn't Cocker thread. Now I don't remember what it was. Well, look it up. That's what we have Google for, right? So that's another one that you guys can look out for. You can get it on Amazon. I actually found one on Amazon for, again, $200. They also have other kits. Same thing with the Spider Victor. You can get kits from both these places, from Amazon, from, I believe, even one of our other favorite stores, which is A&S. A&S has a great package, and their packages are all like close to $200 for like Spider Victor with mask, goggles, tank, and a pod pack. And then they have the same thing for the GOG Enemy, which is mask, pod pack, and all those other things. For a little, probably close to almost $300, but it's still, you're getting a better marker. So it's not a bad thing to get. The last one we want to go over real quick, which is actually my personal favorite because, well, I have one. So I absolutely love this thing. And I got it because I wanted something that obviously is...
It uses an ion threading, by the way.
Oh, there it is. That's what it was. It's an ion threading.
Yeah.
So you can actually change out the barrel. You can get one of those freak kits and screw in a new barrel. So it'll give it a little bit longer barrel. But the barrel that it has, it's from what they say, it's not too bad. But my personal favorite, and what I would say, if you guys are wanting to really play, get into an entry level, and have something that you could actually upgrade, like literally upgrade this thing, it's going to be, drum roll please. Oh wait, I don't have that. There we go. Thank you, Dennis. The EMEC. The EMEC by far, I would say, is an entry level marker because it's a mechanical, but it is actually freaking amazing. This thing shoots laser beams, even with the barrel that it comes with. It can also be seriously upgraded. So whether you want to play in a mechanical tournament, you can use this, and you can get the different triggers and also a couple other upgrades to make it a little bit faster than what it already is. But it also can upgrade into one of these like spiffy. There it is. There it is. If you're all into like, Woods Ball and Scenario and all that other stuff, you guys can definitely upgrade it because it comes to, where's the picture? Gallery.
Told you guys, professional.
Total professional. Total. And bam, look at that.
You can put like Picatinny rails on it. You can put a folding stock. I mean, that thing looks brutal.
It does.
Brutal.
Would I do that to mine? Nah. But I'm not saying you shouldn't do that to yours. If you want to do that to yours, go for it. Knock styles out. But it's a great freaking great marker to have. And it's not too bad on the price. Price-wise is about $350, close to $400.
And as Matt, you're going to see it right here. As a starter or a rental, so that's actually a perfect point to make. The construction of these markers is such that you really can kind of just beat them into the ground and they're still going to run on you. For a lot of the older players out there, we said the same thing about the old Tippmann 98. You could literally just like throw these things on the ground. You could, run them through mud and water and stuff, and they were still gonna work. But the nice thing about the EMEC is, as Eugene said, there's lots of, upgradable parts to it that you can really kind of take it in almost any direction you want. And especially now that they've released the is it the EMEC 3? They just came out with the new, the EMEC 3, both in the mechanical as well as the electric version. So they already kind of taken some of the design of the big brother markers in the Eclipse line, like the 170R and the CS2 Pro and whatnot. And they've incorporated some of those features into this lower end marker. So it's really is that bang for your buck.
That's it is an absolutely great marker. I picked it up literally right when it came out. Like I heard about it the day it was going to drop. I was at A&S and I was all like, dude, I'll take that one. And I bought it.
No, you didn't get the 3 though. You have a 2.
No, I got So I'm really happy with it. And if you guys are looking for something that is not the spider that can fall apart, that's not the GOG, which has an ion thread, which I hated the ions back in the day.
Well, but that's what the TM40 uses. TM40 uses it's now called the Lux thread.
Yeah.
Oh, the internals. Oh, yeah.
No, but if you want something that's going to be something that you can beat, you can actually upgrade and do all these great things, I would go with EMEC, and you guys will
ETHA 3. Thank you, Lupe. The ETHA is the one I was thinking.
ETHA 3. But this thing, that was what Paul was talking about when we were over at his shop.
Yeah.
The ETHA 3 is coming. All right, cool. So, all right. Well, we have now beaten that one into the ground, and we are going to move on. This was, where is it at? All right. So I know that you guys are all in here for basically one reason, and it's not us.
Well, 2 reasons. 2 reasons.
2 reasons. And it's not us too. So we want to finally as we've got through all that other stuff and all our technical difficulties. I've never had this much technical difficulties ever, but it's all right. It happens. So it's time. Oh, look, I'm actually here for yes.
Dave.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Beer's on the house. Let's just say that. How's that? We'll order it, send you to your door, Dave. So, without further ado, yes, we will bring in our guest finally. I know you guys are all excited, but here we go. Welcome, gentlemen. How's it going?
What's up, guys?
How we doing?
Doing good. Jeff, looking
Chris,
amazing
Jeff,
as
great to
always.
see you
Look at that
guys.
slick.
I came off of work and I was like, wait, I remembered and I can't stay
Oh.
at work. I was like, you know what? I gotta, work. I'm like Rangel, who just is working from his underwear, which is great. Hi, Chris.
I'm sorry, buddy. Some of us got a tougher job than others.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's not like I just didn't see like 2 days ago either. So this is great. Are you still wearing the same thing? Are you wearing the same
No,
thing?
I changed. I
I just left this house Saturday.
I literally go from one like tank tech to another. It's like rotate through my wardrobe.
Must be nice.
That's like the best. I honestly wish I could just be like sitting here with no underwear on. Actually, I am sitting here with no underwear on.
And I wear my silkies and my tank tops. That's pretty much my normal attire.
Who says I'm not wearing,
I'm
like-
You guys-
That's true.
I'm like a mullet
That's
right now. I'm
true.
like business up here, like business on top, and then you know what's on the bottom. It's good.
Just
Well,
shirt balling. Shirt balling.
And Dave brings up a good point there, Jeff. Do your socks match your tie?
You tell me. You tell
Oh!
me. There you go. Kind of does.
Rubber duckies, nice.
It's a civilized world we're living in right now. It is.
Nice. Well, guys, it's actually really good to have you guys back on again. You guys were on earlier on in our, I guess you could say, like,
Earlier
on in our
behind the mat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had I think we had you guys on separate though, right?
Yeah, I was on, and then I seen Jeff's. So it was like either I was on and then Jeff was on, or Jeff was on and then I was on. But we weren't
One of
together.
those. Yeah.
Although
But it's
from
actually
what
great
I
to actually
recall,
have both
the
you guys
last time
on.
You were on. You were drunk.
It's possible. I mean, we just like to party. That's how it works.
Cultural appreciation.
Yeah, cultural research. Every time we go somewhere, which I can't wait to talk about this Bunker Fest thing. Like that's again, it's about culture and the environment and understanding and operating in your environment.
Yep.
Hey, yeah, I am on board for that. Absolutely.
Well, we definitely want to hear about before we get to Bunker, because Bunker Fest, we're actually going to put that into our tourney talk. So let's first start off with Veteran Militia and Under Industries. So that's what we want to hear about to start off.
It was like 2016, and it was Travis, her, and myself, just hanging out like we always would. And Travis is like, he was getting out of the military. At that point, I'd already been retired for a couple of years. And we were sitting around, and this is when like the Ice Bucket Challenge was going around, and like 22 push-ups and all that kind of stuff was going on Facebook. And he brought up a really good point. Is like, guys get out and they lose a sense of purpose, and they lose that camaraderie. They lose a lot of the core functions that we have in the military. And we wanted to use what we had, in our scope to be able to get guys together, give them something tangible to be able to reconnect, and on a small level that we can obtain. And so the World Cup 2016, we got the first like 20 vets together, and we went out and played 10-man, and I think we went like, I don't know, like 2-6 or something, but it really didn't matter because we just wanted to get guys together. And then from there, we just grew. And 2017, we had a couple more events at NXL, and then we hit 2018, and we went on a hot streak. And then since 2018, I think we've had 21 or 20 something tournaments, and we've podiumed like 14 times.
Yeah, like the
Nice.
percentage rate of us actually
Yeah,
getting,
I mean, you guys are
getting
on
hardware is
amazing
very
tear
high.
right now.
And it's always funny because like none of the rosters have been the same. You'll have like core guys will be in there, but almost every single line is different. And granted, it's 5-man. We do mix in X ball, which is tougher because none of us are together. And so it's always that thing. We're playing 5-man where to win a tournament you have to play perfect every single point because you don't get another opportunity. But being able to do that with different veterans every single time has been pretty awesome to happen. And
even
the bigger
Chris,
picture. Go ahead.
Chris and I live what 2.5 hours away from each other, and there's barely a time where Chris and I get to play together or practice together. I see Chris more at events and things that we're actually operating in, as opposed to, hey Chris, what do you want to grab dinner? That actually never happens. We probably need to be better about that, to be totally honest. But it's literally a work thing. Like, paintball for us has become, a work set mentality because again, playing 5-man and winning as many times as we have, you have to be on. There's no warm up into things. Chris, we set out assignments for all the players on each roster. Say, hey, we want you to focus on these areas and then have your shit together by the time the buzzer goes. And if you're sucking, you're sitting. But
that's like, it's the big boy mentality, and we've heard some feelings, and guys will come in and we'll give them an opportunity, and they kind of shit the bed and they don't get another call back, and it's not that they can't play with Veteran Militia, but just on that one team, it's built. Its sole purpose is to go and win, and that obviously people gravitate to winning, and that's what they want to be a part of. But on the larger scope, I think it was 2019 before COVID, we had 20 plus teams. Veteran teams at World Cup, and we had Canadian veterans, we had French Foreign Legion veterans, so it wasn't just us, in that message of just getting together and having that camaraderie is the biggest premise of what we're doing, what we're trying to.
And what it does is it builds. We're not talking about building net worth, but we're talking about building networks. Again, we've never had the scope and the ability, especially as paintball, as just the vehicle. That's the vehicle and the train that kind of gets us there. But
it's
in actuality, in actuality, we've now reached out to veterans that need help in, from literally coast to coast and overseas. Chris and I have fielded messages from guys that are overseas that are just, they want suggestions or help about something, right? We've had chats or people saying, hey, I need a job right now. Well, where are you at? I'm in Indiana. Hey guys, who's in Indiana that has a job right now? And people get on the net and hey, by the way.
And most of the time, the Facebook page is memes and the normal military banner. But if someone has an issue, then almost immediately the bullshit stops and everybody goes and insulates that person. And that's the biggest thing that we've been able to establish. And we've said plenty of times, none of us are professionals. My most professional thing was being a grunt. So I can't tell you, to talk you down off, issues, but I can talk you through of hey, I've been through similar situations, and in that respect is to help you. But at the same time, be hey, you need to call 988, which is the suicide hotline for mental health awareness. You need to reach out to, if someone is becoming, isolated, you need to reach out to family members, you need to reach out to the police, you need to reach out to the counselors and get them professional help, because that's what happens is a lot of these guys, they feel so isolated. And like right now, I'm going through shit with the VA, and it's so daunting because you're just in this proverbial loop. I've been trying to get an appointment for my goddamn eyes for 5 months, and guys just get to the point where they just give up. Yeah. And then you you see the stories and you hear it, and some of these guys at the VA, they're great people, but they don't give a shit. And so guys are they need help and they don't have anywhere to turn, and that's what we're trying to, on our level of the ground roots, is give these guys, hey, we're here, and let us have an opportunity to help you before you make that final choice. And I know for a fact we've had several veterans stop in their tracks and not go forward, but at the same time, we've had a few veterans in the group who have taken their own lives. So,
right.
And it's tough, and there's, I know I went through a little, I deal with the depression daily, but I've gone through some really dark spots, and, you know, reaching out to Travis, and Travis had reached out to me when we got real dark. You know, and this knowing that you had something there to lean onto is one of the biggest things to, you know, pull yourself back from that edge.
And there's that blind faith thing as well too. You know, everyone being part of the organization. Let's go back to I think it was 2020 when we had the guys from Texas. I had a squad that I was coaching, preparing for the Las Vegas event, and one of my players came back from Vegas, coming back to Texas, and he got in a critical vehicle accident, like middle of the night somewhere in Arizona, totaled his truck. And I'm like, shit, like, how do we get him help? And I literally just put in the VM chat or the VM Facebook page, hey, who's in this location? And like 7 guys were ready to get in their trucks or get in their cars and go like rescue and like help my buddy, like my buddy, one of my players, just in the middle of the night. There were so many guys like, yeah, man, I'm in that area. Send me a grid. I'm out. I got it.
And we've definitely had guys do the same. Like, hey, this guy's in trouble. And like, we've had guys go to people's houses and be like, hey, I'm here, dude. Like, let's sit down and talk.
Yep.
And that's something that's like, that's the whole premise of Veteran Militia. Like, paintball aside, and like us, you know, fucking with each other all the time in the group. Like, that's a side note of what gives us an opportunity. Like, paintball is just an easy catalyst because it's everywhere. Any person, regardless of disability, can come play. You know, and guys will show up like, hey, I don't have any gear. Well, here, dude, take my stuff, go. Come back, and you know, they got a smile on their face. And now they're more open to talk. And then, like what Jeff was saying, is when they leave, that network is now, hey, this guy lives close to me. And it's like it was back in the barracks, like, hey, what are you doing? Nothing. Cool. We're going. Well, I don't want to go. Get your fucking ass up and let's go. And so now you have
a little
that
bit of tough love.
Well, not tough love. It's just like you sit in the barracks and you fester. And the guys are at their house and they fester. They don't have that camaraderie piece. And so being able to do that on the civilian side now is like, okay, now I have friends who are like-minded. They've gone through those hardships. They understand what I might be dealing with, and now I'm more receptive to talk to these individuals and it comes seek down help.
It comes down to statistics. 1% of the entire United States population serves in the military. So when you're no longer in that the macrocosm and microcosm of that as a veteran, you're like, well, now I'm like that 1% that's obviously weirder than everyone else. You talk a certain way. Chris and I were in Louisiana.
I know where this is going.
And we both had just got some killer fried chicken. And
we were definitely on some heavy cultural appreciation of
downtown. We were hydrated very well.
Oh, yeah.
We're walking down the street, and all of a sudden, like, I kind of trip over, Chris kind of trips, and then we hear this voice behind us and says, "Tell me that you're veterans without telling me you're a veteran." And we both turn around, and it's this other gal, and she's a veteran. And we're like, "Well, how?" Chris, explain how she said that when you asked her.
I was like, "Well, how do you know?" She's like, "Well, look at his dumbass haircut." And she's like, "Let me guess, you're a Marine." I was like, "Well, you got me there."
And she goes, and she's like, "This is by the way you guys walk." And then she ended up, so she was a veteran. She was an Army veteran, and she owned a bar. She goes, "Come on in." And she let us into her bar, and we were there all night, just hanging out, having some really good stories. Another veteran walked in. He was a Vietnam era veteran. We talked to him. There was another gal that was there that was thinking about joining the service. We had conversations with her and gave her some resources and knowledge into before she steps into what she was going to step into. So it was a fantastic night, just because I have a boot ass haircut and Rangel walks like, you know, the fucking silverback gorilla.
I mean, this really quick. I'm sorry, Dennis. I didn't mean to jump all over you, but like this right here, what we're doing as far as this podcast has been what my therapy has been, because I could definitely relate with the whole getting into that depression and all that other stuff. So it's actually, and that's kind of also why I wanted to have you guys on again to talk more about Veteran Militia, because I mean, it is something.
I think it's like a hard part. It's like, you know, guys, and I've seen this plenty of times. It's like everybody feels like something that they want to be passionate about has to be monetized these days. Yeah. And it's hard for guys to be able to just find something that they enjoy and then just go and enjoy it. Like, like our buddy Sean, like his thing is just disappearing in the fucking mountains for 2 weeks. And like
he clicks on, he's like, "Hey guys, I'm disappearing." We're like, "Cool, let us know when you're back."
And he's like, and he'll leave like his coordinates like, "Hey, this is where we're going to be at." So if something was to happen, got a rough idea of where he's at. But like that's his therapy. And for a lot of guys, that they don't have that or they can't figure it out because they're essentially in their own way, to be able to find their outlet, find a passion, to go and enjoy, and then grow as an individual to deal with or have a coping mechanism to deal with issues from post-service when they get out.
And the other good part of that is that right now we're still talking to guys that are like in the veteran militia. We still have guys that are in service. I just left Trevor Malloy's house that I just played Chicago with and got a second place with. But Trevor's still in. He's a corporal in the 3rd Cavalry Regiment here on Fort Hood. But there are grooming things where he'll ask me, "Hey Jeff, what do you do in these type of situations?" Like, and with my 20 plus years of military experience, I'm grooming him. I'm still telling him, "Hey, you need suggestions on your career path and glide path and how to be successful." Those are like, everyone is such a resource to help the guys that are still in grow and survive. To either make the decision, do you want to stay in? Hey, when you get out, what are your options? Like that's like the growth potential for the knowledge base that we have in veteran militia is it's astounding.
It's awesome. That is really awesome.
And to that point, I don't know, Jeff or Chris, either of you, could answer this. So you talked a little bit about the networking aspect of veteran militia. I would love to know more about like your guys' interactions with the different charitable organizations that help to provide some of the services for veterans that maybe they can't get through the VA.
We have a couple guys that are my buddy Andy Jameson. He's an Army veteran. He is a licensed psychologist in Arizona. There are other guys that have worked in the mental health medical field. There are some guys that work in the VA, and there are so many people that are like Chris. Chris and I, but when we were both in, we both worked with the Fisher House. We both did charity runs for the Fisher House. We have so many good guys with great hearts and gals with great hearts and minds that do work with charitable organizations. When someone says, "Hey," there's been a couple of times where we say, "Hey, we've got this money," or "I want to give and donate," and a lot of people just based on their personal interactions with donating have said, "Hey, these are some really good organizations," and it just turns out to be a win.
And where could some, like myself, I never served. My grandfather retired as I believe he was a rear admiral in the Navy, if I remember correctly. Nice. My uncle served in the Navy during Vietnam as well. But where could somebody like myself as a civilian, what are some organizations that, we
so
can
like if you don't know any, like for charity purposes, if you don't know what any of the charities are, go to charitynavigator.org, I believe.
Okay.
And in there, it gives you a good transparency of like where your money goes. So like people like, I want to, donate to Wounded Warriors, which is a fucking legal scam in my opinion. Find a better one. And like Charity Navigator shows you the transparency of how much of your actual money goes. So like the Gary Gary Sense Foundation, you'll see like, okay, 94, like if for every dollar I donate, 94 cents goes to X, Y, and Z. 6 cents goes to administrational. And you can see stuff like that. And so like, I've done plenty to Gary's charity, Fisher House. I think the second quarter of this year, we donated to Craig Bennett's foundation with the Working Dogs.
Yep. What's it? Something for Dogs for Heroes.
Yeah, Dogs for Heroes. We donated $1,000 to that we raised. And there's lots of good ones out there. RWB is another good one. Yeah. But like Charity Navigator gives you a lot of good information to make educated decisions with your money and how it's going to be donated instead of, and like Wounded Warriors is a perfect example where they have tricked the populace into believing that your money's making a difference when actually it's not. It's paying a bunch of assholes, millions of dollars every year to sit on a fucking board and figure out new ways to trick your ass to keep giving them money. And then, 40% of 40 cents of your donation goes to getting some veteran a water bottle, K9 for Heroes.
K9 for Heroes.
Mike. Yep. But there's lots of good ones. And like Charity Navigator, is this a good portal of information to go, and it's all third party, so they they're not gonna get bought off and whatnot, and they'll give you the foundations earn their remarks by hey, they'll give us their taxes, they're giving us the information to accounting, and so they can see, hey, this is where X, Y, and Z of your donation's going to. So that's the place I always start, because we were doing our car show last week, and I was like looking at different things
which we definitely want to talk about. We want to talk more about that as well.
Yeah, so I was like, well, I don't know what's a good child cancer research foundation. So we were looking through, and Alex's lemonade stand popped up, and I was like, okay. So then going down the line, it's like, all right, cool. Like 96% of your money goes directly to whatever that you want to donate to, and all right, cool. So that's what we ended up doing, and I got all the information off of that from that website. So it's a good source of information.
Sweet. Sorry, I'm really quiet for once. I know, just listening to all this, and it is all really good. And yeah, work for or Wounded Warriors.
No,
yeah, not a thing. Not a thing. That's a money wash, in my personal opinion. I was working with them for a little bit when I first started working through charities. I did my own research on it, and I found out that it was just a wash. It wasn't worth it, so I pulled out of it.
I mean, they've really tricked the public into believing that you're making a difference when the reality is that you're not. You're just paying a bunch of fucking executives millions of dollars and using veterans as the linchpin.
Yep. Such garbage. But we do want to talk about and actually move into your event that you had last weekend as far as your car show, which actually turned out really good.
It actually went really well. So like every year, like my goal is to donate around like $10,000 to $20,000, regardless of the back end. Like I want to be able to use Under as a constant gateway to do more than just make money. And so it's very important. Like I grew up with nothing. Like I grew up poor as shit. Like we lived in a car, we bounced around, and so I get not having things. And so, like, when I was in Bangor, like, we did Toys for Tots every single year, got out, and up until Toys R Us closed, we'd go in there and buy $5,000 to $7,000 worth of toys, and then go drop those off, every year. 1 year we did Fisher House, we raised like $13,000 for them. So it's like always trying to use my platform for the betterment of, everybody else, and doing what I can while I have an opportunity to do it. And so, we did the cancer charity for Alex's lemonade stand, and it's one of those things like, is anybody gonna show up? I don't fucking know, man. Like, that weekend there was 14. From my understanding, there was 14 other car shows around the DFW Metro, and we got about 40. We got like 40 cars, and it's really crazy because like last year this time it was raining. It was like super terrible weather, and then this year it was like 90. I think it was like 95. So we got lucky in the weather aspect, and then at the same time, we got lucky that people actually showed up.
And it's real funny too. Like when Chris asked me to do this event for him, like to help run social media for him, I'm like, and when Chris says we're going to do an event, and Chris, this is a tribute to you and Jen and you guys as a family system and what your mentality is that Chris says, hey, we're going to do something. I usually go, what are we doing? When are we doing it? And who are we helping? If you ask those three questions, there's always an answer for those things. In this case, for me, it was really funny because I know nothing about cars at all. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, there's going to be some cool looking shit there, and I got to talk to people. And that's what it was. Again, it was more of a networking base. What was the mission was we're going to help people by running a social event with good intent. And the good intent was really drove that event. There were veterans there. There are other people that I met that they were just like, oh yeah, I'm just like some rich dude that went to a car wash and put my car here and he gets a trophy, but we got to meet those people and we got their contacts, and they want to do more. They want to know more and do more and learn more with us and us learn from them too. It was fantastic.
That's great.
I mean, look at that. Those are actually pretty cool. Those are trophies. What are they?
Yeah, they're acrylic trophies that we had made up. So the first place would get one, and then the best overall would get one. So I entered my own car because I didn't expect anybody to show up, so I at least had one. But it's good because I lost to another car in my same class, so it felt good because I think we had like 37 participants show up.
Yeah.
Oh,
And,
that's fantastic.
Yeah, we raised like $890, so I just kind of topped it off to 1,000,
Nice.
and then we donated that. And it's like, again, I don't want to ever look back and be like, I should have, I could have, I would have.
Yeah.
And knowing that regardless of when Under dies or I'm done with all this shit and I walk away, that I made meaningful impacts along the way, and that hopefully somebody else is like, well, Chris didn't know shit about this. Like, I've never run a car show before. Like, yeah, we ran Bunker Fest, and like on the logistical scale, this was like turn on a light switch and it was done. But hopefully, someone along the lines like, well, I want to do something more, and has the courage and the fortitude to stand up and be like, hey, regardless of like if we fail or not, I'm going to go try. And then in that respect is they want to be more, they want to do more, and they want to help people out. And not just be solely focused on their well-being and end state, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was pretty awesome to see that. And man, I kind of wish I could have gone because that would have been cool to see all those cars. And wait, what is it? Chris?
It's a truck show. So it was a car and truck show. I didn't advertise the truck part, which I like. When we do it again,
George he wants to like roll up a semi. He's like, I'm gonna roll up my semi truck and show you my motor. That's George Dawson. He's like, I guess George. He's a Marine veteran, or once a Marine, whatever it is. But George has been in the paintball community for a while in Veteran Militia too. So I mean, again, if anyone needs a truck driver to hire or carry something, again, it's those small network things, right? What are people's skills? What do they have at the table? What can they provide when people need it? Again, going back to networking.
Yeah,
right.
It is a lot of networking that goes on within the military, and then once you get out, it still continues, and it's pretty awesome. I've got a bunch of people that I know that can do shirts and all this other stuff if Behind the Mask ever needs that, but it's pretty sweet. Yeah. All right, so I think we should move into our tourney talk because we definitely got to start talking about Bunker Fest. We're
about to break some hearts and minds. Let's do it. Come on, let's go, boys.
But we're going to take a quick break, and Chris, you're going to love this. I haven't been able to actually put in what you sent me, but we're going to run what I made so far, and then I'll fix it up and send that over to you. But I definitely want to.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I seen those graphics. I was like, that's like stuff that we made like 2008. Like, where did you find this?
I just dug around and I was like, this looks cool. I'm going to put this in there and put that in there. But hey, I'll go with the new stuff and we'll fix this thing up. But I definitely want to throw this on. So really quick, we're going to take a quick break and then we'll come back and do our tourney talk. So we'll be right back, guys. And we're back.
Wait, before we go on, I'm going to say that I don't like that at all because there's a close-up of Curtis Roberts' face in that fucking commercial, and whatever. Like Curtis is whatever, man. Like there's never like on your shit, Chris. There's never fucking closest to me. It's always fucking Curtis. Oh, we'll put Curtis up there.
Well, like you're always. What do you want me to do? I didn't even make the damn thing.
I'm sorry. You know what, Jeff? On the next incarnation of this, I'm gonna put that picture of you just holding your gun. You're like this. That's just gonna pop up in the middle, and we'll have the bear growling right there. Rah!
There you go. There you go.
Is that okay with you, Chris? So we can appease Jeff and
all on him.
Look, I'm like the rider. I'm like the ride or die guy here. Come on. I'm here. Been here. Ain't going nowhere.
All right. Well, we're still with our guests, and we want to move into the next segment, which these guys have something a great tournament that they put on, and we want to talk about it in. Definitely got to fix that one. But this is Tourney Talk, so we want to move right into and talk about the event that you guys put on, which is Bunker Fest.
So yesterday, or it might have been today, Chris Cox sent me a picture, and I'm gonna assume it's at Mark's Fran's place. I don't know. He didn't give me any context of it, but there is a cup from the 2005 Bunker Fest, and the next to it was the 2021 Bunker Fest Cup, and I thought it was pretty cool to see that transition from years ago to now, and knowing that the legacy that we've been able to continue forward from where Bunker Fest started with Mondo and Ryan and all of their guys, it's pretty awesome, and we definitely look forward to the future for next season for us.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of the pictures from it. I've seen some videos that people have put up, and it looks like a great event, and really wish we can get out to one of your events to check it out.
Oh, we're gonna have a full season next year.
Sweet.
So we'll just give everybody kind of. We're playing a lot of the cards close to the chest, but they can anticipate the release of the dates as well as registration at the end of the year. We want to give everybody plenty of time. We've got a lot of things planned that we collectively, Jeff and myself, like everywhere we go, we're always doing recon. I'm not content, and that's one of the biggest things is that there's lots of people doing great things, and we want to pull in, just like the military, we want to pull in those great things to make our in-state even better. And for us, is the more we can do that, the more we know that we're doing our part to really ensure that the series is growing and thriving the way it's supposed to be. And tournament
growing the sport for that matter.
Well, not just growing the sport, but making sure that we're continually keeping our customer and client base wanting to stay. It's one thing to grab a customer, but it's another thing to make a customer stay.
That's true.
Time and time
That's
again, how many times have we seen a tournament or a tournament series or a location or an event go, yeah, I played it, but I don't want to come back here. Every single person that's walked away from Bunker Fest that I've run into, when I see people at events, at national events or local events or whatever it is, and they know that I'm working Bunker Fest, they're like, hey man, it was great. And if it sucks, I want you to tell me it sucks, but no one can tell me it sucked. Not a single person in the last 2 events we ran said it sucked.
The only thing that we got negative feedback on was the rain and the mud. And that's the one thing that, I can't control the fucking
tell me something that I can control,
Yeah.
Right.
And so that was one of the things. It's like, I'm open to bitch moans and complaints, but it's okay. And then tell me how we fix it. How do you envision this being, negated next time around? And that's one of the biggest things. It's like, I wear this shit on my shoulder. I'm constantly reading everything that we can and soaking everything that we're able to, because, at the end of the day, like, this is now become my legacy, if you will. And going forward, we are super excited about the next iteration of things, and to allude what Jeff is saying is like, it's the Disneyism is the best example where, you go somewhere, you have a great time, and regardless of whatever happens, you know that you had a great time there, and you look forward to coming back. And that's kind of what paintball is. It really is. It's like, and now it's getting more expensive because of all the stuff going on. But at the same time, like, you know, you're going to go back, you know, and you're going to have a good time. And we want to be the facilitators of that and changing the dynamic where it's paintball's paintball. What happens in the court is always going to be there. But on the outside is that atmosphere of, you know, for myself, like the glory years and having that festivals type atmosphere that, you know, there's more to do with my buddies outside the game when I'm not playing my 8 matches or whatever the case is, or I got knocked out early in the tournament. Now I can go, what other things can I go invest my time into? And that's, that's one of the most important pieces.
This is a very, you know, full disclosure, full transparency kind of conversation. When Chris had asked me and told me, hey, he wants to do Bunker Fest, I asked him, well, what's your ROI? Like, what's your return on investment on this? He goes, well, Jeff, I just want to do this because I can. And, you know, I want to give the experience to the players that I've had having good times with my friends. And I'm going to tell you right now, what does Bunker Fest pay for? It doesn't pay for my mortgage or Chris's mortgage or my car payment or his car payment. It's not doing that. It's not paying for anything. We're just making sure that it pays back into the actual tournament.
Like it'll take about 3 or 4 more tournaments before I'm paid back from the initial investments that we made. And that being said, like yesterday, I just bought 2 more fields. I bought a whole nother. I got to pay the oldest for it, but I have another scoreboard. We have all the stuff. So it's like all the money that we make goes right back into this because the longevity
you're investing it back into the series.
Yeah. And it's like, that's my biggest thing is like, I don't need the money. Like I'm retired from the Marine Corps. So like, this doesn't matter to me. And I have a very special spot to be able to say that. And I'm very blessed in that regard. So like if Under's last day was yesterday or today, for example, it doesn't matter. Like I'm still going to drive forward and be okay.
Trust us, guys. We give Jen a whole bunch of shit saying, hey, Chris is spending more money in the Bunker Fest. That Disneyland, that Disney World trip you wanted to go to, not a thing, girl. Sorry. But that's what it is. Like honestly, like it's not just a money investment, but it's a time and heart investment in this thing.
Yeah.
The staff that's picked for Bunker Fest that have been with us, that are going with us moving forward, they're doing it because they want to. They've been players. They understand, or they've been staff for other leagues, and they understand that the experience is the most important part. It's not walking away with the trophy. It's not, it's not, I racked 2 guys on the face on a 2-on-1. That's not that. It's the overall experience. It's the travel. It's the time at the event. It's the time in the pits. It's the time waiting for your game. It's the time between matches. It's the time, when the games are done and the time traveling back. That's the entire experience. So if we can make that worth its while to the customer and client, the player, our friends, the community, that's what we're here for.
Yeah, you are preaching to the choir, brother. I mean, this is something that me and Dennis have said time and time again, and it's the taking us back to what we had before when we had MPPL, when it wasn't just getting there to play in the tournament. It was, we're here, we get to see our old friends from last year, we get to play paintball, but then we get to travel, then we walk around and see all the booths and everything. And if we lose, so be it. We're still here with all our friends and we're going to enjoy ourselves.
Yep.
So
100%.
I mean, hearing that from you guys, it's like, dude, I want to go play Bunker Fest.
I guess like a big thing for me is like, we've reached out, and I'm still reaching out to outside vendors. Like for example, one, they do the IV drips. Like they're an athletic, I don't know if it's like a athletic sports bar, if you will. But what they do is they do the IV drips. And so they have like a specialized crew that shows up and they do athletic drips with IVs. Like we're looking for sports medicine to come out and do stretching. We're looking at like when it comes August time, it's fucking 110 degrees. We're going to have a ice chiller. So like guys can go in there and be like, hey dudes, you get 10 minutes and then you got to get the fuck out because we want to rotate guys through. But it's all those kind of things that is looking more important than just take your fucking money, play your 4 games, get the fuck out, shut the fuck up. Because like again, it goes back to the atmosphere piece, and that's what's more important to me. And at the same time, it's like with their reffing crew. I've never been stopped at a tournament until like the last like 7 months, where guys will like, I'm walking, just kind of oblivious because I'm usually drunk or whatever, and a dude will be like, "Hey, I'm ref so and so on the D1 field or the pro field, and I want to come work for you." That's like, to me, that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, and guys are looking forward to. They're looking forward to what's going to come, and I'm excited for that because, like I tell our refs is like, you guys are the rubber that hits the road. You guys are what's going to make or break a tournament, and the simple thing of it is, don't treat the players as a commodity. Treat them as an asset. Simple things of, hey, player, you're on your pack. And if he argues with you, hey, Dylan, which is our head manager ref, he's going to talk to you about the situation. And a lot of times it's like, using Mardi Gras example, we had 12 refs on the field for the money rounds. So a guy runs the corner and gets shot out. That's bullshit. It's like, no, it's not bullshit. There's just 12 refs, and 3 of the refs are watching that. There's 24 sets of eyes watching all the things. And plus there's a guy in the tower watching with a radio. And all of that transpires into giving you the best thing. So you don't get you might got dirty down in the prelims, but now like when it comes down to that first place where it's a $3,000 swing, there's more, we have it. So you're not getting bullshit and you can't go back. Well, refs fucked me. No, my man, there was 3 refs watching under that corner, get shot in the pod pack, and you come up and gunned down the tape. You earned it, and that's what the things is like we're looking at, to make sure that we're doing, because we want to make that as, I don't want to say sterile, but, I don't want anybody saying, well, the tournament sucks because of refs, or, the subjective things that people always say. We want to try to take those off the table. But on the other side of that curtain, we want, like what you were saying, Eugene, is that atmosphere piece where I'm having a good time with my friends. I'm having other things to do, and it's like, my big thing is like, we're going to have multiple food vendors at every single event, where it's not just the same fried food bullshit crap, $30 fucking chicken tenders with some fucking garbage ass, watery ketchup. That's a fucking word I'm looking for.
Ranch, ketchup.
Yeah, like I don't want that. Like, I want you to show up and be like, I can get ribs today. Tomorrow there's gonna be tacos. I got fucking fried chicken, and all of that, is things that I look at from the outside perspective. And yeah, it's gonna cost me extra money, but I know that if we're putting that in, then that's gonna translate to get more people who want, like what Jeff was saying, they want to stay and then they want to come back, and then they're gonna go tell their other friends, be like, hey, why are you not coming? Like, give me a valid reason about why you're not coming.
Right.
And this isn't like try to compete. And this is I put this out there too, is like, we're not here to compete with anybody. Because I don't care. No, it's
no one cares. No, like we're not trying to steal. Like, we don't try to steal players. What we're trying to do is make sure the players know they have an option. That's it. I don't have to go beg people to go play a good event, because guess what? Every single team that we've talked to that's come back, Rip City United is coming from out of state every single time to play the event. We've got guys from East Coast, West Coast. Guys,
we had several New York teams fly in. We had dudes from Washington. We were playing in that, like, for Mardi Gras. It was a national tournament,
a national event
in the heart of New Orleans. And that's important.
Even when we run the series, and I'll say it out loud. When we run the series in Texas next season, I don't want to have to steal Texas teams and Texas team base. Again, the other people that run leagues here, and I won't say what their names are, but I mean, they're good people, and I believe in them, and they've got great teams. But why can't teams compete more than one series? Why can't they see the difference? Because again, we want to show a different. People ask me. Someone had told me, Bunkerfest is 100% the same business model. I said, you're right. It is the same business model, but the business mentality is 100% different. I guarantee you, because we care about the player. And again, I'm going to break some hearts and minds here. When you go to a national event, there's a lot of focus on the pro teams out there. Right. Okay. There are. And a lot of the pro guys are my friends. Love those guys to death. They're great guys. I love playing beer darts with Houston Heat. Great fucking dudes. But look at the metric number. How many pro fields are there at an XL? 1. How many semi-pro fields are there? 1. How many division fields are there at an NXL? 8 to 10.
Yeah.
And how many teams are they rotating
10,
off? Yeah. And how many teams are they rotating off that field throughout the entire tournament time? That is your client. That is your true client base. And why are we not focusing on your true client base? I want a 12-year-old kid to be a superstar. I mean, Ryan Moorhead, love Ryan. He's a superstar. Nick Sloyak, he's already a superstar. But why are we not focusing on the 12-year-old kid that's supposed to be the next Nick Sloyak, supposed to be the next, Ryan Moorhead? Why are we not telling them, hey, you're a superstar?
That's like one of our big focuses in our head shed is that understanding the fundamental basis. It's just changing the focus and putting the focus, like what he's saying, on that. Watering the base of the plant grows the tallest tree.
Yeah.
You know? I'm not growing my tree on the fucking top. I'm growing it at my base. Nope. And the more that I can get at my base, and again, not diluting our product, is going to give us that opportunity to continue to grow. And we've got several things in line to grow all of that aspect that we want to see going into the 2023 season.
And we try to make it as interactive as possible. I mean, like, there's not a lot of leagues out there that have a free webcast that's showing the field. I mean, quite frankly,
that was super frustrating. Like, because Chris Grimes busted his ass, and people are like, oh, the fucking webcast sucked, and it's like, we're in the middle of Louisiana, my man, and I don't know if you've been to Louisiana, but that place has been battered, and they don't got the best internet already. But we were doing the best we could, and I told everybody, I was like, just go back 10 seconds, and you'll be fine.
Yeah,
go back 10, 20 seconds, and it's going to be where it needs to be. And then you look back at it, like Chris has got like 17 camera angles. So you're watching a one-on-one from 3 different angles at the exact same time. And then when they move, he's moving with them, and stuff Chris like that.
He's afraid to pee. Like, literally, for like the days that we're out there, he's afraid to take a bathroom break just because he wants to make sure his systems are running. I'm dead serious. There's times where I'm like, hey, like I'm throwing Chris water. Or I'm like, hey, Chris, you want me to get you some food? Because he refuses to leave the booth because he's looking at automation, because that's his dedicated job. That's what he's there for, and that's what he loves to do. I mean,
and like that's one of our my big focus is like I don't cut corners with personnel. Like, and I'll be straight up with you. I think we spent last year around $50,000 on personnel, and that's not trying to brag or anything, but that's like our refs. That's
that's just a fact.
The webcast. That's our support staff, and making sure that dedicated people doing those jobs. Because I know that if that person can do their job, they don't got to worry about his job or his job. And because when that shit starts happening, then the whole system bogs down. And that's again just going back to is like I don't need the money. If I can at the end of the day, I need to pay the bills and buy beer. That's for me personally. That's all I give a fuck about. If I get to take a couple of dollars home, fucking kick ass. But I don't give a shit because like for next year, I can tell you like 100%. Like we're gonna give away around $150,000 cash. And that's like no bullshit. Like how it's allocated between the 5 events we've got, it's about $150,000 cash. And then not to mention that we're working with Hormesis, we're working with Adrenaline, we're working with I'm reaching out to these other companies to give awards to the refs, to spotlight them, to spotlight the MVPs, to spotlight moves of the event, and give that kid, like what Jeff was talking about, something tangible to show his group, his little sphere of influence. This is what I love. It makes me excited. Help me grow this and foster this. And now they can see that, like, okay, I can understand this. I can be a part of this. And now they want.
And that's a big thing, right? So now we're talking about his sphere of influence. If there's a 12-year-old kid out there, who is his support investors? Mom and dad, right? Yep. Does mom and dad want to sit out there and watch little Billy get like railed on at some other event where there's no seating, not good food, not great, not clean bathrooms? No, they don't. No, or let's say that there's a husband that's out there playing. He's 22 years old. Does his wife want to go watch him like go hang out with his friends and drink beer and go get shot in the face? Probably not. But
No.
if I make sure that the investors, the clients, are covered in social media, so that way, hey, Billy, 12-year-old kid, I'm going to put you on social media. Make sure you tell your mother that she can see this interview and she can see this play happen. Then hell yeah, and make her happy so she can continue to support him. Or that husband, Tim, who's 22 years old, that just spent like a whole shit ton of money just to buy like some $2,000 like marker setup and then travel out to one of our events. But his wife doesn't want to go because she goes, I don't fucking get it. But if I can highlight him and interview him and make sure that he's on the webcast and then make sure that he's got a couple interviews there, hey baby, guess what? This was totally worth it. And make him look like a superstar so that way she can support him. Then hell yeah, we're gonna do that.
And that comes on my shoulders to invest and give them a platform to have that ability. And that's, you know, again, it just changing that focus dynamic and being willingly not having such a fucking full plate, but rather having a longer table with more people eating, you know?
Yeah,
and again, it goes back to building the network. Why I'm not building a network of sourcing, but I'm building a network of community to say, hey, by the way, this is the good place to be, guys. Why don't we want more good people to be in a good place? Here's a good place. Let's open this shit up.
You know, like 100%. Like, I think I told myself, like, hey, I'm only gonna have like 5 photographers. I think we had like 27 photographers. Yeah. Same thing with like videographers. Like, I didn't charge any of those guys. And I told them, like, your fee is giving me access to their media. So like, hey, I need photos, guys. Give me your 12, 15 best photos, throw them in the file, kick them over to me. You know, we didn't charge vendors because, again, I was that kid making headbands out at Washington, just trying to figure out this was viable. You know, I got extra money to fucking throw down for, you know, $2,000-$3,000 entry fee to fucking, you know, come sell a bunch of headbands that probably aren't going to sell, and give these guys an incubator space to be able to do this. You know, that's important to me. Like, you know, same thing with like the foodies. We don't charge the foodies. You know, we don't charge the media. We don't charge all the things that we could, but it's not our focal point.
I mean,
you know?
you guys truly, from everything you're saying, everything we've seen, you guys truly are an event by players for players, strictly for players, and to build the sport to, like you said, Chris, starting at the base, because that's what we need to do. And that's what that's what our podcast is about, is we've talked to some pro players and other things like that. It's like, great. We love those guys too. But the place that we need to go, it's to the grassroots. It's to, like you said, that 12-year-old. And we want to give him a spotlight to be able to shine, because that's what we felt like when we were back in the day playing MPPL. We felt like superstars because we had our IDs and we're like, hey, we're going to the back into the pits, and you guys can't. We can't.
Where there was actual security and you had your, you know.
It was good times, and you felt it, and you felt like the superstar.
And that's something that's like for us, like myself, is like, how do we capture that essence right there? How do we capture that and put that out every single time?
I mean, like, you know, I'm a 41-year-old dude, right? And now, like, being retired from the Army, working in a separate professional realm, the times that I get to go play paintball, it's not, you know, there's two parts of it. One, it's like, well, you're going to spend this money to invest so you can try to win. You know, you do the best you can. You don't want to let your boys down. But the thing is, again, Chris and I live 2.5 hours away. I barely fucking see Chris, but when I do see him, it's a really good memory, right? Win, lose, or draw, either at an event doing a bunker fest, playing an Excel, or in some other fucking league, I'm creating a memory with Chris. You know, I've known Chris for 11 some odd years right now. We've had some really good fucking memories. And why paintball is a social event, and I've said this time and time again, that when paintball stops being a social event where I get to see my friends, I'll fucking stop. But right now, I've grown to know so many great fucking people.
And I think that's why you see the resurgence of Tin Man, because it takes the edge of like, I got to show up and compete. I got to go the best. I got to do all this other bullshit. And it becomes like he was saying, the social event where I get to see my friends, have some fun running around the woods for fucking 10, 20 minutes, and then going back to see my friends again, you know, and that's, I think honestly, why you see this huge resurgence, what Tim started, you know, a couple years ago. And, you know, seeing continually growing more and more is that mech and wood scene.
Yeah,
Now, if
definitely.
only 7-man would come back.
So,
Oh, what do we got?
I know.
So, I mean, like, we'll be making our announcements for all the events at the end of about a week after Cup. We're going to release our date our dates and everything, and then beginning of the fourth quarter, we're going to open up and get everything going for registration and give everybody plenty of time to plan, prep, and I'm excited. Like doing the car show yesterday, man, I got to pull out all my toys and get all those kind of out of the box and whatnot. And like I told the group chat, I was like, it's not so much the event itself. It's the prep and everything else there. And like when people started showing up and seeing the smiles, man, it made me feel so damn good. And I'm looking forward to being able to do that here in the coming weeks.
So
awesome.
Without letting any cat out of the bag, Chris, is that a slight hint that Bunkerfest might be seen elsewhere?
So I get asked this question a lot, what's your goal or what's your end state? And the biggest thing is like right now we're going to focus on Texas. We will have a national event elsewhere in the country. And if you kind of follow Bunkerfest, you can figure out that it's going to be in Colorado. That's a tentative plan right now. We're waiting on the fields that we're working with to get the green light so that we can make sure it happens. Because again, when we went out to New Orleans, it was really about figuring out, again, how can we give the players a gift wrap? Go to these places. Don't just sit in the hotel. Get in the car. Go to these places. And these are places you're going to have fun. And I honestly think we delivered that. And
I mean, if you're at Bunkerfest and you're in Slidell and you didn't go to Jazzy Pete's, you're an idiot.
You messed the fuck out.
You weren't there. So I mean, like, and let's talk about that. Like, again, experience. Jazzy Pete's was one of the best places we could have eaten anywhere. I think we ate there 3-4 nights of the 5 nights we were there.
And granted, like for us, we were getting done super late, so it was like one of the last places that was open. But it was also super good. And one of our crew, he has a personal connection to the place, so we went there, and then it was like really good, and we couldn't stop going there.
And then you talk about what else was a great experience was LAX itself. LAX paintball. When Drew said, "Hey, we're gonna go ahead and build these fields to support Bunkerfest," Drew came through. Drew Bankston, God bless you. Thank you for making that happen.
He is a damn national treasure to those Louisiana boys. Like
there's no, hands down right now, there is no bigger heart in paintball when it comes to a field owner than Drew Bankston. I would put money on that thing. I would take that check and give it to the bank. That Drew Bankston is literally the heart of paintball in Louisiana right now because of what he does and what he wants to provide service to the customer as players. That is a fantastic field. If you were in Louisiana, you go to Drew Bankston's field at LAX paintball and you tell him Chris and Jeff sent you, and you're gonna have a great fucking time. You just will.
I mean, he literally built the parking lot, another field out of a lake. Like when we showed up, I remember I showed up the first time because it was Paul. Paul was like, "Hey, talk to Drew," and I was like, "All right, cool." So I reached out to Drew. I was like, "Hey, man, this is my idea," and he's like, "All right, come on down." And I remember I showed up, and like there was the one field that was like, and it's Louisiana, so it's battered from the elements. And I was like, "This is what we need to do." And he's like, "All right, we're done. We're going." And I was like, "You sure?" I was like, "Don't commit if you're not in, because I'm gonna bring what I'm telling you I'm bringing." And he's like, "All right, we'll get it done." And I remember we showed up in January, and there was still like Field 2 had just been built, all new poles, new nets. And he was like, "Don't worry." He's like, our moat is our lake, which was the parking lot. He's like, "It's going away. Trust me." And he brought in, I think he said like 60 tons of crushed concrete and asphalt to make a new parking lot because he's committed again to the growth. And he knew that, hey, this gives me an opportunity to not only show Louisiana, but also the world stage that we have a great thing here come, and like, I know for Chicago, he had the Hurricanes out there practicing, he had Legion out there practicing, and you can see how well both those teams did at his facility. So,
and then, as a player, like the last thing you want to do is show up to a tournament and go, wow, I didn't realize I wasn't playing in Wrightville, USA because it looks like shit out here. It doesn't. Like there's so much research that goes into picking the places, the event sites for us to make sure that it's worth it for players to show up. I mean, like where we're having it next year, it's advantageous because of the area and like especially because we treat Bunkerfest as a national event near the airport. Why would we have you travel to a place that's not near the airport that's like 6 hours away? Dumb, right? That's not a good facility that's proven, that has infrastructure that's set. Like the last thing we want you to do as a player to walk in and go, well, this place kind of like there's not even like a fucking net here and the air station is broken, so this is stupid. That's not a thing. That's the last thing I want to be in your mind as a customer.
Yeah. And anybody watching this that we're not going to name names, but anybody watching this that's involved with other leagues, listen to what Jeff and Chris are saying right now.
I mean, there's really good leagues out there, and like and this isn't trying to bash anybody, right? But like again, it just like our focus is different, and like I have my own personal goals, my own internal personal goals that I want to achieve, and that I can say, going back to before we kind of got off a tangent, is like, on the small level, we're going to focus on Texas. I want to see Texas have what California and Florida has. I want to see that in my backyard. And I don't know why it hasn't happened, but I'm about to make it happen. And then at the same time, I want to go back. We're going to go back to Mardi Gras in 2023. At the same time, we're looking at other venues, going to New York, going to Pennsylvania, go possibly to Seattle, go to other places and not have
Seattle would be
worry.
Amazing.
And for me, it's like, I don't care if we get 100 teams. I'd rather have the intimate setting like we did at Mardi Gras somewhere else, but I know that all these other people are going to want to come, and building off of what we're doing is going to get us to that point. And so like on one hand, it's like, I'm going to have here soon, 3 different kids to baby and continue to grow. And like Under is going to be, one of those kids. And then you have National Bunker Fest, and then you have Regional Bunker Fest, which will end up happening in the course of time, and cultivating them. And that's something for myself personally I'm looking forward to.
Which goes back to that whole other point, is that if you're a field owner or if you're a team that has like a home field and you think that you have a place that you want to host a Bunker Fest in the future, let us know. And Chris and I are more than happy to go find your local bars that are around there and go fucking test that shit out. I'm letting you know right now.
Like I'm looking forward, like, one of the things, going to there's this place in Pennsylvania where they're like, hey, come out. And like, checking it out, it's like, dude, this is fucking amazing. Like, this would be a great place to, to host a tournament. But, again, it kind of goes back into, well, this is a more intimate setting where maybe it is all just East Coast teams, but it's something different, and it's put on by somebody else. So there is no biasm. There is no, all those other variables can be taken off the table, and they know they're going to get a good product. Like I want to go back to Seattle. So I reached out to Doodle Black Sports and with those guys, because like I miss Pacific Northwest, and I would love to see like something larger than a regional show up and giving, and I know that we can bring that kind of support as well as aptitude from other players to come and have a good time. But yeah, it wouldn't be some 100, team event where, we got to make $100,000 for the leadership to make it viable. It's us showing up and having a good time and, serving, in my opinion, a market that's there, but isn't large enough to pay for the big road show to come, and being okay with that. Like, hey, dudes, we're just going to break even, but we know we're going to have a hell of a time doing it. And I love that. I love that. Like when I flew out of New Orleans, I was sad because I knew I had to wait 2 years to come back to experience this. And that in itself was like, it was gratifying, but at the same time, it was really sad when I went down that escalator to security. Man, I'm not going to be back here for at least 18 months. But everybody else is like, dude, why are we not going back next year? Because I want it to be special. I want it to be what you guys remember for NPPL. When I went to the last couple Huntington beaches, I want that ingrained and burnt into my heart, my soul, and my memory, so that when I come back in 2 years, it has that luster, it has that feel, it has that aurora around it, and then that's what you remember, and that's what you get to build on again with your friends.
Because I can tell you right now, like the guys that have played LAX or played Bunkerfest in Mardi Gras for the Mardi Gras Open, they were looking to come back. And the thing is, they've already told their friends, hey, by the way, the friends that didn't show up, y'all are stupid. Literally, so I was at a Texas practice once after Mardi Gras, preparing for an NXL, and they're like, hey, blah blah blah, just go ask Jeff. And those guys were wearing Bunkerfest t-shirts, and they said, dude, you're an idiot for not fucking playing. And what makes me feel good about it is not because the money payout. It's not because of because it was because the experience, the total experience was so good. People walked away. The people that got last place, they were still happy and had a really good time. They got free crawfish. They got to see more national teams. They got a better playing experience. They felt good about everything because it was just a better community. That was like building a community. Again, paintball is always about community. And when you can identify good community, it brings in good people. So build your good communities, give them a home, give them a place to say, hey, at least we know this place isn't bullshit. At least we know that we're taken care of. At least we know there's good people here with a good heart and mind that are trying to provide a good memory and experience for the player. That's why this is so important for us.
Yeah, awesome. It makes me feel really good that what we've started, and when going to same thing, I've had people came up and they're like, man, I feel really stupid that I didn't go, and it's like, well, don't worry, we'll be at the next one. Like we're gonna be there. Like we know we missed out.
And that's like, well, you should feel stupid. Ugh.
And that's like something for myself personally is like, I want to get to a point where we're not even an option. We are the only option. And that's something like my personal, I don't know the best word to describe that, but like, that's me personally. That's when you and your guys get together around the table about what tournament to play, we're the first name that comes up. And again, this isn't like we're competing against NXL or WC or anybody, because that's not my goal. But when it comes time to, I know that we are doing everything in our possible power to make it that we become that first option. And we're continually dedicated to being always reinventing and reinvesting into the product that we're providing the player.
And we challenge any player out there or any team out there. If you want to know something, ask us. We're going to give you an answer. We're not going to side skirt you. We're not going to tap dance around the issue. Ask us the direct question about someone had asked us sent us a message and asked about how do we get league sponsorship, right? And after doing a little bit of questioning and resourcing, I said, hey, are you asking because you need a paint discount? You don't need a paint discount because everyone's going to pay the same amount. You don't have to put our logo anywhere, or you don't have to do anything. Just come play the event, because we try to have really good paint prices at a very not minimal but a very reasonable level. You don't have to do any extra shit. It's a good event, man. Just come play, and we're not going to try to like rip any money out of you just by putting our logo on you. We don't need that. What we need is for people to talk about it and say, hey, it was a good experience. It was a good event. I'm more happy about that type of marketing, about people telling the story. Again, paintball, you talk to Fred Schultz, you talk to Bud Orr, you talk to the old hats that have been in this sport for forever, since its inception. Paintball is based off of stories of people experiencing it and their experiences. I don't give a shit about market publication or social media when it comes to this stuff like this. If I can hear it from the 12-year-old kid to the 45-year-old dude that said this was a good event, we had a great experience, that's all that matters to me. Period.
Right. And that actually leads me into something. I was on a message board the other day discussing the whole issue of, GI recently facing possible insolvency and selling off some of their assets and whatnot to avoid that. And I brought up a point with the incident between DMG and Impact when, these guys were like 2-3 feet away from each other, just unloading their loaders. And I said, me personally, I feel like that's kind of a bad look, because paintball right now is still trying to establish a reputation that, is going to bring the people in. And ultimately my point is that this sport is supported by the player base. Mm-hmm. And we need to try and do things like you've been doing, providing a good experience for players to keep them coming back in, and then telling other people, hey, you got to come check this out. This was a blast,
So like kind of on that level is like, I remember right before the money round started, I got the captains together, and like Nico Hyde was there and Devin Stewart and like the other teams were in the finals. And I was like, here's the rules, dude. You guys can do exactly like that whole scene. I don't give a fuck. The second that you point and start talking, you're gonna earn your keep. And we had a couple dudes go through the center, the car wash, and just toe to toe, and then they bumped knuckles and they hustled off. And I get it. Like on the outside perspective, people have no idea what's going on, so it looks lawless.
Yeah.
But then on our scope, it's like that's entertaining,
And
it
what should have happened, in my personal opinion, for that event, specifically for that instant, with DMG and Justin, honestly, they should have talked to both players, because from my understanding, they're good. It's just one of those things that it's like it happened in the moment. But if you don't tell, stories happen in 3 parts: the before, the during, and the after. No one told the story after. I'm pretty sure Justin Connell didn't go back to his hotel room going, man, fuck that dude. Pretty sure that didn't happen. But there wasn't a due diligence of media to tell a story, to say, hey, by the way, they good. It's entirely fine. It just happened in the moment, like, oh, well, if you're going to shoot me, okay, we're still standing here, cool.
The kid from DMG, he's got plenty of videos of that happening at like practices and stuff. So it's not like it's isolated in the fact, but that man's going to stay in his ground,
Yeah.
And so, and good on him, but it's like for myself, like, if I seen that, I know that Tim Stapleton or Dennis or Dylan or any of the head refs would probably let it go and be like, all right, boys, so you got your licks in, you guys are down for the rest of the match. And if that's your last match, well, you're done for the day. But I wouldn't suspend, players if that shit. Now it was like something where a guy was like on top of some other dude. He's like just pounding this dude, and this guy already caved. That's a different situation. But those dudes went toe to toe, looked each other in the barrels, and then went at it, and then hustled off the field.
Yeah.
So. There's no chirping afterwards. There was no, I'm going to go see the parking lot. None of that bullshit. But again, it's. I'm going to tell you right now, at every Bunker Fest we've done so far, the staff, me as a staff member running social media, but just running logistics as well too, and most everyone there was a veteran, right? So we've been in high pressure situations. We've been in the points where we're like, all right, well, do we shoot the guy in the face or not? Most of those guys have been in those situations before, and I can tell you right now that our judgment was sound. And the thing what made our judgment so sound is that we treated every single player, every single spectator, and every single co-staff member there with respect, dignity, and the expectation that if we give respect, we're going to get respect as well too.
Because I love knowing that we have almost like a 99%, like for the Bunker Fest staff, not counting the refs and stuff, but like the guys that are in the staff shirts, almost all of us are veterans, and we've all been in situations, leadership roles, high stress, downrange, overseas, and it has a good gambit and handle on, stressful situations and how to handle things in the best possible way. And then being able to react quickly as a team member to handle situations, immaculately without it becoming dire to running the event. We Jeff and myself, we got, 2 great examples. One, we had a generator go down, and then 2, we shot fucking 3 million paintballs. So like midway through the tournament, like we're out of paint, and, I allocated what I believed was going to be enough. And then I'm on my back end hustling, and, Drew came to the rescue, helping on that one. But at no point did it ever negatively impact the tournament, because most players had no fucking clue. They had no idea. And that goes like, perfect example. We had everybody doing their specific job. So field 1 was an hour ahead of schedule. Field 2 was an hour and 15 minutes ahead of schedule or some shit. So I had an hour and 15 minutes to play with. And I walked the players like, hey dudes, so our generator's overheating. We're going to go into a tactical pause. And when that comes up, we're going to get swapped out real quick, and we're going to get right back to it. And we were able to do that so efficiently because of all the staff members being veterans. We were still 45 minutes ahead of schedule on field 1, and we had enough reserves on field 2 that they played another 2 matches, and it never affected anything, And so when we're looking back and doing our after actions, yeah, we can take hits on a personal level, but for the customer side or the player side, they're oblivious to the situation.
Yeah, and that's that whole, like, everything that we've talked about tonight in regards to how you guys have organized Bunker Fest and turned it into this well-oiled machine. I mean, that to me speaks a lot to the heart and the drive that you bring to the sport, and I would love to see more of that from.
I mean, I know, like, on a personal aspect, people want to see me fail. I know that. I wake up every morning with some guy on the fucking backside of a keyboard waiting to be like, haha, fuck that guy. He's finally done. And I know that, like, for Bunker Fest, like, I will never give anybody that gratitude. So, like, and that's the Marine in me. You're never going to get that gratitude from me, my man.
Well, like, there's nothing for us as Bunker Fest for us to lose. It's all gain. Like, again,
yeah, well, exactly.
Yeah, I'm not working for Chris to make sure that I'm going to serve. I gotta make sure Bunker Fest is successful so I can get some ramen and some water because I'm starving and dying. That's not it. I'm in the same boat as Chris is. I'm fucking retired. I don't have to work the job I'm working right now, and I take my time out to help Chris because I fucking want to do it because it's a good fucking event with a good heart behind it. That's why I'm doing this. Like, I don't give a shit about any monetaries.
Case in point, like, we were going to have Halloween Havoc this year. And so we're looking at the schedule and, like, you've got World Cup coming up in 5-6 weeks, whatever. There's the USXBL, there's WCPL, MVPS. I think MSXL's got it. So it's like, yeah, we could put a tournament in here. And I know we wouldn't do it flawlessly and we'd probably sell out. But we knew on the professional side of things, we're not going to half-ass any of the hard work and dedication that we have got to this point. And it was tough because, like, I'm sitting there, I sat down with the field, we shook hands, and then, like, literally the next day I'm sitting there after the round talk, and it's like, we're not going to be able to execute and give the player the respect that they've already commanded of us to be the best that we possibly can. And then you turn around and be like, hey, dudes, we're going to recop for 2023, and not to say that we're not trying to actively do something for December right now, because we want to do a Toys for Tots tournament at Giant Sports Park.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, but that isn't going to be, it's not going to be the extravaganza that we've already put on display. That's going to be more low key where it's like, hey guys, you're going to show up with a $25 toy brand new with a receipt. We're going to pay $50 cash at the door, and then you're going to play with your team. But that's, something completely aside. We know that what we've created is special, and we have to deliver that excellence just like we were if we went downrange on patrol, where it's expected of you to be the consummate professional day in and day out from 05 to 2200. You're giving me 110%. And being veterans, like Ryan Sartar the other day, when he showed up for Bunker Fest Austin, it was raining and lightning, and he showed up. I didn't say a goddamn word. I said, get the fuck in the cart, drove him to this fucking spot, and I was like, do this, do this, do this. And I drove the fuck off. And I came back, and it was done. Because he was a grunt, I could talk to him like that. And all the military guys, they understand it, where we're in a high-stress tempo right now. We don't got time for formalities, my man. We got a job to do. We got to get
stick
it done.
Your emotions. You stick that shit in your pocket and let's fucking go.
And
get to work.
We made a post like, "Hey, dude, we need grunts." And like guys are messing like, "I want to work Bunker Fest." I'm gonna tell you right now, man, ain't nothing about this sexy. Running a tournament is not sexy. Guys like Kyle Parrish and Bobby, Hard Hat Bobby, and Buddy, and all those other guys who are behind the scenes, man, they put their fucking asses. They put their blood, sweat, and tears to make sure those tournaments go off without a hitch. And I commend the fuck out of them. We learned so much after Bunker Fest Austin that we're able to use those lessons learned to continue to get better. And Mardi Gras went off as perfect as a tournament as we could possibly have. And that just goes back to, all the guys being veterans and understanding what is required. And then understanding my mission statement and the commander's intent of, if I'm not there, Sergeant Major's, he's in charge. Sergeant Major's not there, Jeff's in charge. Jeff's not there. But everybody knew the job. So it wasn't like, well, I want to make a decision. Make the decision. And if it's bad, we'll just recourse action, But again, it goes back to paying the staff, getting professionals on board, paying the professionals what they want. You know, my air guy, well, I want this. All right, bro, I'll see you fucking Thursday, 1800. And you're going to sit here and you're going to make sure this air compressor doesn't go down. Aye, sir. You know, and just having those professionals on deck makes the entire organization run peak performance, and then allows us, you know, Jeff, to go around, kiss babies, shake hands, and grab more feedback. So how can we get better? How can we continue to make this better every single time?
Which sucks because, you know, as a player, like, and that's the mentality though. Like as a player going through the sport, there's nothing more gratifying than being like on the gun and trying to win an event with your boys. But man, like it's so frustrating to do that, but it's so gratifying on the back end as well too, to be able to capture those moments, talk to the players, make sure their moms, wives, dads, husbands, you know, whatever, know about that. That's the mission, to make sure, again, it goes back to what we've all been taught by the old hats, Fred Schultz, Bud Orr, Josh Silverman. It's all about the stories that you're being able to tell. And those stories are so much easier to do when you have a focus of social media and one guy saying, hey, some weird Asian guy running around going, hey, let's talk about what just happened on the field, because I want you to tell the story as you saw it in your mind. And I'm gonna post this, we're gonna share it, and that way it's not gonna go viral, but at least it's something that was written in stone. There are so many great stories out there that are not written in stone from the divisional players by the true customer and client of the sport.
Yeah, and that's awesome. And everything everything we've been hearing right now, it's like I want to get out there and just whatever you need me to do, I'd be ready to go to help you guys out.
Oh, hell yeah.
I mean,
me behind the mask is ready to support you guys any way we can.
Yeah. So guys, it's been really awesome to have you on. And I just looked at the time. I was like, holy crap. We've been
I noticed we kind of went off.
Great.
But it's awesome. I mean, everything you guys have been saying and just how you describe Bunkerfest, it's like, man, I feel like, I really did miss out. I want to try to make it out to next year, even though we're all the way over here in California. I think we're gonna have to make some special trips out to Texas and even out to.
We're gonna have a full year next year, you know. And if you look at my Facebook, you can see we're gonna do 5 events, and not counting us probably a special event towards the end of the year. Because again, Toys for Tots is a big thing in my heart. So you know, trying to revive the Longhorn Classic as something that will be that event if we have the opportunity. But you know, like I said, everybody's welcome here. You know, from vendors to media to everybody. You know, I'm not keeping anybody from attending, and I'm not putting pay barriers in their way from coming. If you say you want to come, hey man, we got a spot for you.
Nice.
And that's one of the most important things to us.
Well, Chris,
fantastic.
Definitely we want to hear, like, how can people find you guys as far as for Bunkerfest?
So Bunkerfest has a new website, so it's bunkerfestpaintball.com. You can go there. It's literally a one page, and it's super clean and easy. As we get a little bit closer to World Cup, well, like I said, about a week or so after World Cup, we'll have all the dates on there. And then about the first week or so of December, we're going to open registration, and we got some special stuff planned there as well. And then it's just going to be media blast, and we are going to like literally force feed Bunkerfest from that point up until day 0 or D-Day. And I cannot wait to see everybody.
And if you want to hear from the horse's mouth, Chris and I will both be in attendance at World Cup this year. And before I forget about this on this catalyst, just a little side note. We are doing an all veteran Commanders Cup.
Oh yeah. It's Commanders Cup. Yeah.
So
nice.
Tom Cole, the NXL has graciously said, hey, we're going to have all 4 services compete. We're not counting the Space Force or the Coast Guard. I'm not going to make any jokes about that. But however, it'll be all 4 services, Army, Navy, Marine, and the Air Force competing on the NXL Pro Field on the webcast. The last game's on Thursday and Friday. And we got to
finish all the details with Tom at ICPL next week. So Army will play Navy, and then Air Force will play the Marine Corps, and then the winners will play, and then the winner will be crowned the commander. They'll be awarded the Commanders Cup, similar to what they do in football. we're going to do that as well. So, and it's something that we should have probably done a couple of years ago, but it was like literally, I messaged Tom earlier this year and I was like, this is the idea. And then he got back to me and said, hey, let's make it happen. So
it's like one of the only times I get to shoot my gun against Chris. It's going to be fun. But now
I was just about to say that.
Now shifting back to the whole Bunkerfest thing again, if any players, any teams, any coaches, any field owners, anyone wants to have a conversation with us about this in person, 100% Chris and I will be at World Cup starting at matches on Thursday. So come find us. Hey, Jeff, Chris, what can you tell us about Bunkerfest? What do I need to do to get my team registered and signed up for? By all means, have those conversations, and I will have a full. I
will say I won't give you hard details because I don't want to spoil. I don't want to spoil it ahead of time, but I will give you as much as I can. So if you come out and ask me for dates and stuff, I'm going to be real gray on them. But I'll tell you. Yeah, I mean, like our focus is again, like everybody says Texas is a mecca. I want to make it on the map. I want to see the same numbers that we see for NXL here every single event. And
Texas has. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, Texas, I would say, has now become the new mecca for paintball.
Oh, hands down.
So, yeah.
Hands down. You guys have California. So much. You guys have so much young talent coming out of the state right now. You guys have so much. There's just so much going on there. You've got a lot of strong teams coming out of Texas. Absolutely, hands down, Texas is taking over.
And I look forward to giving them a place to showcase their abilities and their talents, and then rewarding them for it. Because, like I said, we're planning on giving about $150,000 away next year, and that's no
fantastic.
bullshit. I mean, we paid out. I think we paid out $37,000 at Mardi Gras or some shit.
That's great. With us having a league like Bunkerfest in Texas right now, I mean, all those guys that are stuck in D2, D1 purgatory, guess what? We're gonna make a home for you.
And that's that's something, try to make it quick, is it's tough because I was stuck in purgatory when Veteran Militia was making these really solid runs. And I was just on the sideline being coach and paying the bills. And so I didn't have anywhere to play besides the NXL. And I know Mike out there with the WC has been very successful, and that's something that I want to grow here. It's been, I know Aaron with MSXL has tried it. Kenny tried it. I don't really know if Alex at MVPS has tried it or honestly cares, but it's something that I know for our area, we have a lot of high caliber D2 and above players who don't have anywhere to call home. And I know, the guys in the Midwest, they don't have anywhere to call home to compete. And that's something that I know will be our largest deficit fiscally because it's going to be such a small group. Yeah. But I need to take away the excuse variables for these guys. And, and it's one of those things, well, we got to put up and shut up. And our team is committed to making that happen. So for those guys who are in that D2 or that grade D3, when they want more challenge or they don't feel like, they can do it at their home, we're going to give them that ability in that space for them to go and compete against heavy hitting teams. And then in the same regard, take home a chunk of ass cash and be like, well,
that's the system right now. Like, someone tell me I'm wrong, but when you get rewarded for winning in divisions in your lower divisional finals, and now you're ranked too high, now you can't play with the boys because there's not a league for you in most local tournaments that are, D2 and higher.
Yep. And we're committed from the brand new player. We've already been talking with a lot of other individuals about this. Is like, we are committed from the base level player to that D1 caliber player and have them have the ability to play everywhere in between. And then at the same time, get back to the whole part is get the family involved, get the friends and families, allow them to be part of that experience. And then those people get to share that, and then that helps obviously get more involvement from everybody.
Definitely.
That's fantastic. That's awesome.
So guys, if you guys are watching this, which we still have a good amount of people still watching, if you know about Bunkerfest, enjoyed it, come back to it. So obviously, check out their website, like you said, bunkerfestpaintball.com.
Yep, and then they can find us on Bunkerfest Paintball on Facebook. Jeff runs the Instagram. If you can't figure one of those out, then hit me up on Under Industries Facebook, Under Industries Instagram, Under Industries Yahoo, or for YouTube, or you just find my stupid ass on Facebook, or you look for
same.
Jeff.
We'll get you in the right spot. We'll answer the questions that you guys want in full transparency and full disclosure. There are no secrets about Bunkerfest. There's not. There's no hidden voodoo about the entire thing. We're literally, again, we're just a league that wants to provide the best experience for players and make good fucking memories for you to tell.
That's literally. I remember when I talked to Mondo, and I'll make this quick. I told Mondo what my goal was, and when he showed up at Austin, and he started crying, I knew that I made it where we took the legacy and we built something that was going to be better and gave us a foothold to go forward. And when I seen Ryan Gray, I asked him, I was like, how did we do? And he's like, brother, like, this is fucking phenomenal. And granted, I have the metric of 128 teams, I believe, is what the largest turnout. And granted, it was all 5-man teams back in the day. But that's my metric. It's 128 teams to say we have now surpassed the history and the lineage of where we came from. And that's something that I look forward to doing and putting in the hard work to make happen.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Well, guys, we are going to wrap it up with you guys. If you guys want to just hold on really quick, we're going to take you guys out, and then we'll come back to you guys once we end our show. But yeah, we're going to hit 2 hours. I think this has been the longest one we've done, but it's actually been really good.
Next to the time when we couldn't stop talking to Amber Wong.
Oh, yeah. We went on and on and on, and we started talking about her cat, potato, and
we made that a 2-part episode.
We had to. But guys, it's been pretty awesome having you guys on, hearing about Veteran Militia, and then hearing about Bunkerfest. I mean, it's just now 2 things that we really want to be a part of, and any way we can help or whatever it is. So hold on.
And it's both of those things have been kind of near and dear to our hearts, so to speak, because I mean, Gene's currently in the military. I do have family in the military, and I'm very, I've always been very supportive of our military. So that it means a lot to have you guys on, and it means a lot for you to be able to talk about this.
The last thing, guys, again, if you're a veteran in a crisis situation, 988, it's 988, and that will put you in direct contact with a professional mental health provider. So, and that goes for anybody. It doesn't, if you're a veteran or not, if you're having a mental health crisis, 988, reach out to them at any time, 24/7, 365 days a year.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. You guys,
fantastic.
Thank you. Listen to Chris, and if you guys
really appreciate it.
Yeah, if you guys need it, get the help. But all right, guys, we're gonna let you go real quick. We'll come back on, but we're gonna finish out our show. So hold on, sit tight, and we'll be back. But that was and we're back. And that was pretty awesome. Love those guys.
That was great. No, that was great.
They did my job. I didn't have to open my mouth and say much. I could just listen. It was great.
No kidding. I mean, Jeff and Chris did all the work for us. That was fantastic.
But you know what? It was awesome having them on again and being able to hear about what Veteran Militia has now grown to since the last time we talked to them.
Yep.
And then also hearing about Bunkerfest and how, dude, that is it's truly an event.
Oh yeah,
for
absolutely.
The players. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
Absolutely. The thing that I was I had wanted to ask them about, but the mood was a little more serious, and so I didn't want to derail it too much. But I wanted to ask if it was much like the Mardi Gras of old, like from the old Trauma Head videos and stuff like that, because that would be fun.
That was also nuts. If you guys ever seen that trauma video, it's nuts. But with that, we are going to close this out because we are going to hit the 2-hour mark in about 6 minutes, which is crazy. So this is the second longest.
One last thing. There's one last thing before we call it a night. So I wanted to just kind of give a little bit of a shout out to one of the teams that's in our stable. They recently, gonna be making a pretty big announcement. So Niles and the Texas Cyclones are actually going to be making the jump to semi-pro next year. So if you haven't heard it yet, you heard it here first. Super proud of those guys. I mean, Niles has put together a great program. Everybody on the team, bust their ass to, put 110% into the team. And I mean, I couldn't be more proud. So
well, definitely,
it's going to be exciting. It's going to be really exciting.
We're going to have Niles come on to talk a little bit more about it and just what to look forward to for the future of the Cyclones. So as always, we love having him on. He's always a great person to talk to and stuff. And we love just talking to him outside of the show, because we'll talk to him about once a week. And it's always a good hour to 2 hour talk with him. And it's always a great time. But
that man's a legend. So
Cyclones, awesome. Congratulations for moving up. You guys earned it. You deserve it. Continue to put up that hard work, because you guys are awesome. And what Niles is doing and that whole program, freaking amazing.
It's fantastic. Amazing. Yeah.
So with that, we are going to end this. So as always, I want to tell you guys how to reach us. One is check out our Instagram at Behind the Mask Media. You can DM us there and talk to us. If you guys have events, if you guys have, even like how we were talking to Chris, if you guys have a charity event that you guys want to promote, by all means, let us know. We will put up posts on Instagram. We will bring you on the show to talk about it. We will do what we can to help you guys out, because one, it's obviously for a charity, but it's also, we want to grow the event or grow the sport. So that's the best thing to do is come on, talk to us. Let us know. We will be happy to put you guys on. So Instagram, Behind the Mask Media. And then as we're moving along, you want to email us, hit us up, Behind the Mask Media. Again, this time at gmail.com. Send us your information of an event if you have that, or if you have a store that you want to talk about and you want to promote that, we're happy to hear you guys. And if we want to, we'll put you guys on. And because again, the key to this is growing the sport.
Yep.
So you also want to check us out on TikTok, which I don't have a banner for that, but it's Behind the Mask Media. And we have a couple of TikToks on there. I'm not big on doing the whole TikTok thing.
Yeah, that we're still kind of lagging behind on the TikTok.
Yeah, but we are going to start doing some shorts on YouTube, because we can start doing that. So it's kind of like TikTok, but it's on YouTube. And we're going to start doing that because I kind of like YouTube a little bit better. I don't know why.
Yeah. But as Eugene said, you can find us on almost all the social media outlets. Just look for Behind the Mask Media.
Really easy. Not hard to forget. It's all Behind the Mask Media. So, but like I always like to say, guys, get out there, get to your stores, drop that cash on their counters, and let's grow the sport. Go to your local fields. Start throwing down that cash there too, because the more we give, the bigger it's going to get, and the more we're going to move forward. We want to see this sport what it was in the past and be what it is now, or be better than what it is now.
That's right.
So, guys, it's been great. It was an honor to have these two guys on. Jeff and Chris, it was awesome. Just
it's fantastic.
Listening to everything.
Yeah,
seriously, it was
fantastic.
So, but like I always say, because we're going to end this right here, because I don't want to drag it out. I'm a minute and about 30 seconds away from hitting 2 hours. So, if you can shoot, you can move, then you can play.